Right, another session of Life with the Lionesses, and I am so pleased. She's been a bit elusive, but I'm so pleased to welcome Heather Biggs, who played for the Lionesses in 1998, also played county, played at Rochdale Ravens, bit at Redhill, and then back to Hillside Hawks. So has a long history in the sport over quite a lot of years, although I did have a bit of a break in between. Welcome, Heather.
Hello.
Thank you. So how did you get involved in Rugby League then?
Well, I was playing. I mean, I knew about it anyway because in the town where I grew up, they had their own Challenge Cup. So we used to, on Easter Sunday, we used to go out and 8 o'clock in the morning, a breakfast, we should say, and not finish until late and watch the game, the local team's game. And so I got into it. I knew about it that way, but I never played. And then anyway, I would have been about 25 when I worked. Girl said, "How do you fancy playing rugby?" And I just laughed at her, went, "Not a chance." Why? Said, "Nobody is throwing me on the floor. Not a chance. Not having it." Anyway, she pestered me week upon week upon week. And in the end, I went, "Right, you're in my hometown, you're having a match," or it was a friendly, it was summer, and there was just a mixed like charity with men. And I said, "Right, okay, I'll come and watch." And it was tag. "I'll come and watch and let you know what I think." So I went down and I stood there watching. There's a few people I knew. And they're running up and down, and then and they were playing tag. And I thought, oh, they're not throwing each other on the floor, And I thought, nah, it's still not for me because this isn't real. I'm being led into a false sense of security. Anyway, they just said, "Right, do you want to have a go?" Because I actually knew the coach as well. And I went, "Yeah, go on then." And I said, "Well, tell me what to do." He said, "All you need to do is catch the ball and run." I went, "Catch the ball and run?" He went, "Yeah." I went, "Okay." So anyway, gets given the ball, and I ran, got took, stopped. I went, "Oh, this is all right." Anyway, played it. It was fun at the end. They said, "See, you could do it. We didn't need to train you. You just did it." "Yeah, no problem." "You playing?" "Nah, I am not being thrown to the floor. I'm not doing it." Anyway, a bit more pestering. I did then start in September, and then you are thrown to the floor, but it didn't hurt, and I was all right. It was actually all right. I can't remember, and there was none of this gently easing into it. It was bang, you back in playing on the Sunday, not coming down to watch again, led, false sense of security, just come and watch. Nah, come and watch and bring your boots, I got told. So I turned up and yes, I'm on. Not even sub, on straight away.
Oh, wow.
No idea what to do. I said, "How do you tackle?" And they went, "Just stop them." I went, "How?" "Any way you want." Right? So I said, "Oh, okay." So I just got the ball and ran. And it was, I can't remember I honestly can't remember who the first game was, but I think it might have been Bradfield Wakefield. It might be one of those two. Because I remember everyone said, "Don't worry about it, it'll be fun because we'll get thrashed 90-0 or something." I went, "All right, okay." So it must have been one of those two. And it was a good game. And I remember just thinking, that was all right. So from then, that was it. I stayed.
So that pester power, that kid's pester power worked on you, didn't it?
It did. It really did work. I mean, I was sporty anyway. I love my sports. Yeah. But yeah, it did work. And I did. I just enjoyed it. And there were a good bunch of lasses. Oh, God. The fun we had, and we did literally go out and just say, "Yeah, let's have a bit of fun," and we did. We had some serious laughter.
Yeah, so that would have been the mid-90s, was it?
I started in 95, so it was just before the Australian tour.
Yeah.
And so when I played, three of my teammates, Lucy, Paula and Wendy, they was already in the squad, so I started. And I always remember it was only about 3-4 games, and I don't know who it was, but which team it was, but I remember some of the squad went up to Paula or Wendy and said to them, "Who's that?" And they said, "Oh, she's new." They said, "My God, if she would have been here last year, she would have been on the squad. And I remember him telling me that, and I'm like, not a chance. No way. How? I have no idea about rugby. Yeah, they're just trying to keep me in the team. That's why they're telling me. So yeah, and I just carried on. But that, you know, when I look back, that was a nice thing to have been said about me. You know, when I've just started, only played about 3-4 games.
Yeah, well, I remember you were just big, physical,
Yeah.
you know, and hard work. You just knocked us all down.
I remember tackling you once. Someone said, she's a referee, she'll be fine. I went, oh, no, it's Julia. They went, nah, trust me. Yeah, and I did feel sorry for you, and I did tackle you, I must admit.
I remember it well. Oh, it's such a character in the game. Yeah. So after the Pester Power and you started playing and you really got into it then, so did you play some county games?
I played, once I got selected for GB for the New Zealand squad, and then we started playing county games. I got then chosen for the county. And yeah, it was really interesting because I'm thinking back and I cannot remember how I actually got picked for any of them, to be fair. I mean, the GB squad, I remember my coach saying, I'm putting you forward. And I'm going, no, I haven't been playing long enough. He went, no, I'm putting you forward. And he did. Mm-hmm. And then I don't remember, I remember the training, but I don't remember whether it was a letter, phone call, how I got selected. I just remember being told I was in the squad. And then this first experience I had of everyone going together is when we went to London, which lots of people talked about, going to Wembley with the white suits. And I must admit, I actually quite enjoyed it.
So you went on the pitch?
Yeah, I enjoyed the experience. What's not to like, eh? A bit of dancing, free hotel, free meals, a bit of booze, and then dancing on the Sunday. Yeah, as you can tell, I'm taking a mickey. But yeah, it was, do you know what? One consolation, you could easily spot who I was anyway. Everybody was in white, but you could spot me from a mile away. I could say to everybody on the TV, there I am, look, there I am. Round again, look, there I am, look at me here. That's me. How many black people are on there? There you go. So, it's easy to spot me.
Oh, brilliant.
Yeah, couldn't camouflage.
No. Oh, wow. Yeah. What an and I always remember your big laugh.
Oh, I've still got it.
You've still got your big laugh everywhere. Yeah. It's infectious.
Yeah, they all say, Heather, we don't know if you're in the building, but we can definitely hear you. So, yeah, it was really good. It was a good experience. And that was my first experience of the real rugby community with the women's league. It was a real good community. It was a good laugh. And then obviously the training started, and I trained my own thing in the past. I just did what I did, play games. I've never really trained. So, and I went to the gym, but not with a program. So being given that program was really good. I really enjoyed it. And even the eating plan, I hated veg. I ate the usual, peas. But given, saying, no, you have to eat broccoli. I absolutely love broccoli now. It's, I know it sounds daft, but that changed just my lifestyle, if you like. It was better. I mean, not now. I just eat like a God knows what, but yeah, it was all that experience. It just happened to change and to give us proper sense of community on a different level. Not just your team playing, but the actual women's league in itself, because there weren't many of us by the time the years went on. So it was good to have that sense of community to do with rugby and not just the men's.
Yeah. And you did train hard, didn't you? And then you had to do a lot of fundraising as well.
Yeah, we did. I mean, it was hard, the fundraising. I know some people struggled, and I at the beginning, I think it was trying to get it out there. And I remember being in the local paper, but I also remember the community, the black community, really behind me, because at the end of the day, you didn't see many black women playing rugby, and to the fact that not only was I playing rugby, I was playing for GB, was a massive achievement from the era I grew up in and for the black community. So they really were behind me, because it's, get behind us. At the end of the day, she's representing us.
Yeah, that's lovely, isn't it?
Yeah. Oh, yeah. you know, we can all talk about lots of things, but I think it's important when you look at the ethnicity side, because there were three of us, me, Shani and Mackie, right?
Yeah, absolutely.
And I think from Sheffield, Julie, was she?
Yeah, there was Julie
She tried,
Finizambi. Yeah, she didn't get in the team, did she?
Yeah.
Yeah.
So, you know, and we were the only ones that were playing actually at the time. I think Zuki played later. I think she called Zuki. I can't remember. For Red Hill, I can't remember.
Yeah.
But there weren't many. There were only us. And the fact that all of us got on the squad, well, 3 out of 4, do you know what?
Phenomenal.
It is. It's a good achievement. And, you know, I'm proud of that. And I know my family were really proud of that as well.
Yeah, and so you should be, because it was, and I think rugby league, and particularly women's rugby league, was just embracing everybody, wasn't it?
Yeah.
It wasn't about the colour of your skin, was it? It was how you performed.
Yeah, it was, and I think that was a big, massive difference. It didn't matter. It didn't matter about anything, you know. Or equality, diversity was always in women's rugby league. You know, it didn't matter. You just got on with it.
And that's lovely to hear. I'm not sure how mixed the England team is now, actually. I'd have to have a look. But I know those days, I mean, Lisa was the first black captain. So, I mean, again, that's just testament, isn't it?
Yeah, and, you know, that's phenomenal to her as well, because she would have led other young, you know, people to go. Because when I started, I didn't know there was actually only me in the squad. But you just got on with it because you just did. And then even when I was playing all the other teams, there was nobody. Not that, you know, it didn't matter, but it was still an achievement, thinking, wow, you know what, just get on with this.
And did you come across any problems races?
Only once.
Other teams?
Yeah, only once. And I think it was really weird, because I was always expecting it, and that sounds really daft. I was always expecting it, but never came across it until we did. And the referee was really good at the time, and he understood why I got angry when it was said to me what I was called. I mean, I don't want to go too much onto it, but that was the only time. That was the only time. And to be fair, the teammates were absolutely horrified that their player had said it to me, and not just once, twice, 3 times. And they really understood. They were really apologetic, and you know, it's testament to, like I said, that the community made sure that ensure that everybody was equal and everybody was treated the same, regardless. And
that's lovely. That's lovely to hear, actually, because you hear so many horror stories, don't you, of you know, and in sport, but also in rugby league, about, you know, a whole range of people just not feeling welcome in the sport because of who they are. Not, you know, and that's lovely to hear. So you got in the squad, Heather. What was your family like?
Oh, they were absolutely brilliant, because, you know, nobody in the families have done that. Like I said about the black community where I lived, we knew people, but they were absolutely fantastic. They were telling everybody. I mean, my mum, she loved the sport, but she had no idea about rugby. She didn't know if it was a round ball, oval ball, whatever. But the fact that, you know, her daughter was being picked for GB, she told everybody. Everybody who met her, she'd tell her, oh, it was fantastic. My brothers were absolutely telling all their friends, and, you know, they were raising money. I had other families, they were doing the name cards, taking it to it, saying, do this. Why? It's forever. Okay, no problem, we'll do it. So, you know, it was really good. They were all very, very pleased with me, and still are. They still are, because they'll talk about it even now to this day, especially with my young boys, and they'll say, you do know your mama, what she used to play? And they go, I know. And I've been, you know, looking at him, teaching him, I'm thinking, oh God, I'm too old for this. I can't be tackled anymore.
And so you should be proud, because it was a great achievement. So tell us a bit about the 1998 tour to New Zealand then. What are your memories of it?
Oh, do you know what? The actual experience, the getting on the plane. I remember T lying in front of him on the plane, you know, because she couldn't settle. And she literally we were sat at the front. She decided, oh, I'm not sitting on the chair. So she actually made her a little bed with our feet and laid on them, and which was good. But this was a sense of the community. We all just, you know, mixed on and got along. And we got there, we were shattered, but do you know what? The games and what we played were fantastic, and I know they were tough. They were tough. I played in mainly the interim games, the warm-up games, the middle games, and they were really good. They were hard games, so I can imagine what the main games were like, but the test ones. But it was really good. I remember one game, and we were playing, and I remember T went for a tackle, and I was the second in, and the ball fell on the floor, and I absolutely thought, "Oh my God, I've knocked her out. What am I going to do?" Were you refereeing then? I can't remember.
Yeah, I think I was.
You were refereeing because
I
remember you came over, and we both looked at each other. I looked at T, and T just winked at us and went, "I'm knackered. I'm having a break."
Yeah, remember
Do you
that?
remember? Yeah. And we both looked at each other and went, "Oh, thank God for that." Honest to God, and I always laugh, and I always remember that. She goes, "I'm knackered, I'm just having a break." And then I got shouted at from the crowd. I remember going, "It's her, number 10, get her next time, get her next time." And I just remember looking at them going, "Yeah, whatever." And I remember waving to them. I mean, at the time I think, why did you do that? But I think it was just a case of, well, never mind. Yes, I'm number 10, get over it. But that game, I remember coming off and thinking, wow, I've had a game. But the first thing that I remember coming off that game, which was, for me, is still a fantastic memory, because it's one of those, there's certain people in women's rugby league who you really admire. And Brenda Dorbeck, I always remember walking off, she was the first one to greet me, her arm down, and she just went, "What a game."
Honestly, that's making me all goosebumpy.
Honestly, she just, because there's some people but there's some you really want that recognition from.
Yeah. You
really want that recognition on. And Brenda did it, and I think Lisa did it, and a couple of us just went, "What a game." And then I knew, I did. I felt I had a good game, but having that recognition was really good. So there were lots of games like that, and I know they were tough. Boy, they were tough. But I also remember the fun bits, with them as well. And Pash making up that song. Boy, her and Sue Haywood, Jesus, what a laugh. The songs and just the laughter. And, I shared with Burrows and Joe, because I went to Reddell. I was going to Reddell after the tour, and just having a laugh, and again having that sense of community was, we talk about rugby league and like going to GB and being picked for squad, but from that a lot more led to it, and a lot more, and that wouldn't have been successful. I know we didn't win the test, but it wouldn't have been as successful if we didn't have that community, if we didn't have that, good sense of humour with everybody as well. That would. I remember I ended up doing all the washing because I shared with Sally.
Oh yeah,
Sally. I shared with bag girls, and it was like, "I'm going washing." Everyone going. Anyone went for and they give me the bags, and I was just like, "Hang on a minute, how come I'm doing this all the time?" But I didn't mind, because we all mucked in and helped each other. So it's that sense that the memories, as much as the games were fantastic, it's all the other things that made it, for me, we didn't win. It wasn't as successful as Australia, but for me it still was, because we did win the interim games, we did win the warm-up games. So I
scored lots of points as well, actually.
I don't see that as a failure. I just think, they were tough, but the positives from it is we actually did win 3 of the games.
Yeah, absolutely. And you were away a month, weren't you? So it's a hell of a time to be away from home, isn't it?
And that was hard. That was hard. By the end of it, I think I did get a little bit homesick, because, there was only me from my squad, my team. But like I said, I got to know a lot of the players. Like I said, and I was going to Reddell, and Burrows especially, and Jill and them lot really took me under their wing. So really had a good time there.
Yeah, beginning to be adopted by Red Hill.
I did. I definitely was. I definitely, in more ways than one. Oh boy, did I just.
Brilliant. So when you sort of look at it, what was the really tough time, do you think?
When New Zealand?
Well, just generally, generally about.
Generally in just everything playing rugby. I think it's the commitment, because now I'm glad women are starting to be paid. They should have been paid a long time ago, because you had to train, you were working. You couldn't afford to get injured, because you couldn't afford, A, not to play rugby, but not to work. And if you didn't work, there's no way you could travel to rugby, or, you know, it's all, so it's a vicious, so that was difficult. The commitment, as in making sure work and rugby married up. So those were tough times. And, you know, for me as well, your social life when you played for GB disappeared. You know, I was training pretty much 5 days a week, and then playing, or 6 days a week, then playing on the Sunday. And you know, your friends say, you coming out? Nah, not tonight, not tonight. I mean, I did when I wasn't playing for GB, but as soon as I started playing for GB and training, I didn't go out on a Saturday night unless it was an event. So that was tough, because your friends just thought you were fobbing them off. Even though you're saying, well, you know, this is what my passion is now. This is what I need to do. So for a long time, that's pretty much what I did. And that was tough. That was tough. They understood, but it was tough. So they support you, but then they want you in the way you used to be. But yeah, but to be fair, there wasn't a lot of tough things. I think it was the loneliness after, like I said, being away for 4 weeks, that corrected. But also you had space and time to either, if you want to be by yourself, you could be, or be with everybody else. So it wasn't really that tough, to be fair, the 98. But yeah, in rugby in general, I just thought it was an amazing time of my life, if you like. Moving teams. I mean, when I went to Red Hill, that really was about me seeing what else I could do. Because I think when I was playing for the Ravens, it was fantastic. But there was like 3 or 4 of us, and that's no disrespect to any of the girls, because everybody was fantastic in their way. But we were doing a lot of the work, and it can get tiring. So once I started training for GB, you realise actually that when the teamwork spread out, you put a lot more in. So, you know, when Burris twisted my arm, I'll say, nah, I'm only kidding. And I went over. It was a complete different game playing, and I really enjoyed it. And one of my fond memories as well, I've got loads of memories playing, is when we played, I'm sure it was Wakefield, we played, we were in the final. I think was it at Castleford, when, is it Sean Sampson? Was it called that?
Dean Sampson.
He gave me man of the match, player of the match.
Wow.
Yeah, and I remember sitting there and going, he said the name because we didn't win, and I'm sure it was Wakefield. And I goes, oh, it was a good game. We had a fantastic game. Never mind, everyone, we're all genius because we did have a good game. And he was going, player of the match, still and I'm thinking, oh, it's meant to be Wakefield. And he said my name. I remember looking at Ryan going, he said the wrong name. And Burns went, yeah, and they're all cheered. And she actually had to push me up and say, get up there, you idiot. That's you. I went, why me? We all played. She went, no, get up there. And I remember going up to him. He shook my hand. He went, do you know what? I don't give many forwards play the match, but you were fantastic. And, you know, and that's one of the things that you've worked for. Those are the sort of things that you keep working for, and you continue to work for when you just in sport, in your job, everything. You do it for passion. You do it because it means something to you. But when you're actually recognised and get that recognition for doing something good, that you know in yourself you did a good job, it means so much more.
Absolutely.
Yeah.
So when you look back at your sort of international career and but also your playing career, because it was probably over about 10 years, was it, Heather?
Possibly, yeah. With the break as well, yeah, because I finished up at Hillside Oaks with the Cobs, with a bunch of young girls now, some of them like Andrew Dobson and Becky Jones and all that. I mean, I played with Becky beforehand as well, but those players were absolutely. So going back to that and seeing these young girls coming through and how far they've got is amazing as well.
Yeah, so you sort of look back, what would you say to sort of the next generation, you know, the obviously generation now and the next generation about, you know, being involved?
I think if you have a passion for not just rugby, but any sport, but let's talk about rugby, you've got to go for it. Don't let anybody tell you you can't do it. Don't let, you know, if you feel that you might lose some friends or you're going to lose some relationships, you've got to ask yourself, are they really supporting you? Yeah, then my answer would be no, they're not. Because if you really want a dream and you need to follow that dream, the only way you can do is if you go forward and put every single effort into it. If people can't support you, forget it. You will find people who are the community, the women's rugby community are there to support you. So go for it. Have the time of your life. You won't regret it.
Oh, Heather, thank you. Not only are you a great role model for women, but also Black women, particularly within sport. So thank you for giving us your time and sharing just a very few of your memories. I know you could probably go on for hours. Thank you.
I could. Yeah. Thank you very much. Thank